Hi, boys and girls. So nice to be with you. This is Rabbi Rosenblatt from RJC, and we have another story. How do you get started? All the important things in life, you have to start. So here is the story of maybe the greatest starter in all of Jewish history, the greatest rabbi of all, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was already a grown-up. He already had a little boy, but he had never been to school. He had spent his whole life working very hard as a shepherd. One day, he was shepherding his sheep, and he came and found something very strange. There was a place in the rocks where water was dripping down. And under the rocks, there was another rock, only in the place where the water was dripping. Over many, many, many years, it had made a hole. And Rabbi Akiva said, "Whoa, look at that. Water is so soft, and stone is so hard. And yet, because it kept going, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, drip, 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 for years at a time, the water made a hole in the rock. You know, I'm already 40 years old, and I never even learned to read. And I never learned any of the holy books of the Torah. And I always thought that it was because my head was too hard to take those things in. But if water can make a hole in the rock just by staying with the job every day, my head is not that hard. Maybe the Torah can get into my brain." And the very next day, you know what he did? He had a little son who was just getting started in school. He was maybe 4 years old, and he was going to a school where they taught the little children the letters of the Aleph Beis. So Rabbi Akiva, big grown-up guy with a big beard, walks his son into the school and says to the teacher, "Would you mind if I sit in the class with my son and learn to read along with him and the other children?" Well, you can just imagine how the children laughed when this great, big, grown-up man tried to sit down into one of the little chairs that they make in school for little children. But Rabbi Akiva wasn't embarrassed. And each time the teacher would write a letter, he would first let his son copy the letter, and then he would copy the letter. And they would teach him how the letters sounded. Beis is ba, Gimel is ga, Daled is da. And then they started putting the vowels there. Da, da, de, ba, bo, be, bi, bo. Well, you know what it's like trying to learn to read Hebrew. And every time Rabbi Akiva tried, sometimes he made a little mistake, and the children would laugh. But he never gave up. And before you knew it, he learned the letters. And before you knew it, he was learning words. And before you knew it, he was learning the whole Chumash. And then the books of the Nevi'im and the Ketuvim. And then what happened? Rabbi Akiva started to learn all of the great teachings of the rabbis until he became the greatest rabbi of them all. And he took a look one day as he was taking a walk, and he saw the place where it had all begun, where the water was dripping on the stone. And he smiled, and he tapped on his head and said, "I guess the water of Torah one day 24,000 students would call Rabbi Akiva their teacher. And even now, it's hard to open a page in the Mishnah or in the Gemara where we don't find some lesson from the great Rabbi Akiva, who got off to a very late start. I hope you enjoyed this story, my dears. We'll see you soon for some more stories.